Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over what the market looked like tonight. I did not take a trade, and I kind of want to talk about being selective in your trades. Actually, I had a really good trade tonight, and I think in a normal day or maybe normal circumstances, I would have taken it, right? And let's kind of get into what I was looking at. So first, let's look at M&Q. This is not where the trade took place. Um, but I was contemplating taking a trade here. The reason why is because I knew we were in a range, right? I've gotten so much better at identifying when is a range happening. At least during Asian session. New York, I still have no idea. But if you look at this, this is perfect range bound conditions, right? One, look at the open. The open is so high, expansive, right? Explosive as well. But then you come back down to where you opened, right? Not Tokyo Open, but 6 o'clock Open. Then you head for the highs, you reject. Then you come back down, and I knew that this could be a possible area for me to buy. Now, I normally don't trade ranges, but I had a feeling that if we had gotten above value area lows here, we can potentially aim for the top or at least aim for the psych level of 800 or the value area high of 800, right? So if we watch how this plays out, right here, I ended up locking my account on, I think it was this candle right here. I was like, yeah, no, like I'm just not trading tonight. Right after that, we get this really nice high volume candle. We're at value area lows right now. It's shifting with us too, right? If we can get a nice green candle right here, you buy. We're aiming for 795. In reality, you'd aim for 800. Stop loss would be below this level here, so it's about a 1-to-1. And if we wait, right, this is a nice pullback here too. It would have given you another opportunity to enter, and it ends up hitting value area high. So that's perfect, right? Now, that's normally a trade I would not take. I'm learning how to take these trades and I'm learning what the market is doing, but that's a trade I would not take. The trade I would take, which worked out very well, was on gold. So again, I had locked myself out at about 8:21 tonight. I was just like, I'm not trading. But what I was looking for was for us to come down to value area low. So first we're bullish, right? Perfect setup again. I love these setups. And we'll talk about being selective too, right? And my feelings towards that. But here you can see, wanted to come down to value area low. We do, right? So that's the first one. Now, do we hold up here? Yes, we do. Boom. I'm buying right here immediately, right? Where's my stop loss? My stop loss probably would be set initially at this level at 57, but my majority stop loss would be set at 66 or maybe just a little bit below prior day value area high, so maybe 164. So at this point, I'm risking about 12 points, obviously, I'm aiming for these highs here, right? Which I think is about 10 points away. So it's a little bit of a negative RR, but again, with majority stop, I think it would have been about 1-to-1. We ended up just shooting right up. So I would have been one and done very quickly in about 15 minutes. Um, and it was just a perfect setup too. But what happens after that is insane, and it's something that I've been looking at too. Is this VWAP play? It's something I used to do on MNQ, but I just decided that I'd rather buy at a better level. But the insane run up we had after that is absolutely incredible, and the rest is history. So honestly, would have been a good trade. Decided not to take it. I'm completely fine with that. And I've realized I've just become very selective with my trades, but not only just the trades themselves, but kind of like my feelings and my emotions when I'm going into a trading session. Today was a really tough day at work. Had this evaluation, very difficult. I'd only seen two people by lunch, which for me is like that never happens. But because I switch back and forth between working actually in the hospital and then working in an outpatient setting where people come in and see me, today was just one of those days where I could only see the people who came in to see me, and that was it before lunch. right? So by the time it was 1 o'clock, I had so many people to see still, and I only had 2.5 hours left because I get out of work at 3:30. So it was very difficult for me. And I knew coming into the trading session, I felt kind of off. Not fully. I still felt like I could have traded today. But looking at MNQ and how that happened, I think I was focusing so much of my time here that I was like, this could work, this could not work. I was like, you know what? I'm just not trading tonight. Let's just call it quits, right? So gold did present a really good setup at that point, but at that time I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just gonna play some Pokemon Go PvP tonight and just not worry about trading. Now, obviously, it worked out. It worked out fantastically, but I think that's part of being selective, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being too selective, right? Now, if you're being extremely selective because you're scared, that's another thing. And sometimes I do feel like that too, especially recently. I'm like, ooh, I don't want to trade because I don't want to lose. But at the end of the day, you're always going to lose when you trade. It's just a matter of fact. The point is for you to take your highest probability setups. This would have been a high probability setup and it would have won and it would have done great. We would have made money today, one step closer to our goal, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't trade because I was fearful. I just didn't want to trade tonight. I didn't want to go through the mental strain that trading is. Trading, it really is a mental game and it can put a lot of stress on you too. I think Josh was saying in the Discord today that trading the 1 minute time frame is stressful. It absolutely is, and that's what I primarily trade anyway. But it trading just overall is stressful, and I don't feel like it's one of those things that you should subject yourself to if you're not feeling up to it on that day, right? So it's kind of like whenever I work with patients, especially patients of high fall risk. If I know that I'm not up for it today, that I'm not on alert, high alert, I'm not going to do high risk maneuvers with a patient, right? If they're feeling a little bit off too, I'm not going to risk them walking with me and then they potentially fall, right? It doesn't make any sense. But if a patient was completely fine, they felt okay, but they need to work on walking, and I was fearful that they're going to fall for the wrong reasons of I don't want to do all the paperwork. I'm just irrationally fearful that they're going to fall and hurt themselves, then that's wrong. And it's the same thing in trading too. You have to be selective to the point where it's appropriate for you not to trade, not that you're fearful to trade, right? So that is my lesson for today. Um, but yeah, would have been a stellar trade regardless, and I'm happy with that too. Part of being in a good zone of trading is even the trades that you don't take, you decide not to take, right? But you know it's a good setup, they end up working out. It shows that you know what you're doing. It shows that you kind of get the feel of where the market is going to. One last thing I do want to say too was an awesome quote from Short Bus in the Discord. He said it in our general chat, but I moved it to our Mind Over Market, which is where we kind of put quotes or um, also to just like encouragement if you're not doing well. Um, so the thing that he said today, he said, I had an epiphany one time and felt so much that all I really need is a reason to just get in a trade that has two things: good location and cheap risk. And I really love that because I'm like, if I had taken that trade, was it a good location? Yes, right? It came back into value area lows. Perfect. Is it cheap risk? Yes. Honestly, risk could have been down here, but I could have moved it down here as well. And it's still cheap risk for the profit that you're trying to get to. And yeah, it ended up working out. I mean, if you had gone for broke, this would have been crazy to go for the 200 play. So I really do think we should all keep that in mind too. Is if you're entering, is it a good location to enter? Right? For me, as a volume profile trader, I understand that it needs to be at either premium or discount. Right? If I'm bullish, it has to be a discount. If I'm bearish, it has to be a premium. Right? And is the risk cheap? Most of the times, yes, my entries have cheap risk. Now, my stop losses are wide, which I don't mind, right? But I usually tend to tighten them up as we get levels higher, right? So, This would have been a good trade, and I think those two things are really good to determine your entries and exits, right? So, anyway, that is it for this video today, guys. A bit of a quick one. I think about 10 minutes so far. I hope you guys are doing well. Hopefully, you guys are trading well. And yeah, keep trading stoically.